Right, today I'm going to be giving you guys some game on how to change the alternator on the 2005 Cadillac Deville. The process is very similar from the 06 to the 11, almost same exact process, details. So, but this one particularly is a 2003. So first we're going to start off by taking off this little plastic cover. There's no tabs on this one, but they usually have little tabs that go in, you pop them out. Oh yeah, that's one right there. I'll get that one out. But then you take off this, then you see this bar right there, crossbar going from side to side. Then you take off these two bolts. There's two identical on the opposite end over here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 10mm bolts going across. So once you remove the 10s and take out the 15s on each end, this bar slide right out. Remove the air intake housing so you can have access and clearance for those two. So yeah, once we take that off, then we'll remove the fans. And once we remove the fans, then we'll begin disconnecting the lines on the radiator. Because with this one, put it out from the top, you gotta remove the fans in the radiator. It's easy like that. You can wrestle it from the bottom, but there's a lot of people saying that AC lines are in the way, and I believe that, but I just never took it from that route because it's easier up here. So the thing is, you gotta remove the radiator because once you pull out the alternator, once you pull it back towards the front of the car to get it out, I had it happen to me where, pull it too hard. It's little to zero clearance between the radiator and the alternator itself once you pull the alternator out. So when I was wrestling with it and trying to get it out, it broke the little aluminum films on the radiator. And so yeah, that's why I just go ahead and take the radiator out to remove that. But yeah, we'll get some shit off and I'll come back. So I got the air intake. Got some leaves up in there. I'm gonna clean that up. But now these bolts have clearance to come out all the way. Because with that housing on, there is a little bit of clearance, but not enough to get it all the way through there. And it needs to go all the way through for this to raise. So we're gonna take 2 15s, 4 10s, and then 2 15s over here. And these little radiator brackets will slide up. You remove that one. This one will slide up as well. And then we'll remove that crossbar. And then you'll have access to the fans and go from there. So we got the bar off. There's the crossbar itself. Now we have access to the fans. It's 1 10mm bolt here. 1 10mm bolt here on this bracket for this line, this transmission cooling line. And then 1 10mm here. As you can see, that line is wet. So that indicates that the O-ring in here is probably bad. The bottom one's probably like that too. But we'll investigate on that when we take this fan out and get that radiator out. All right, we got the fans out. Fans are out. So basically, once we were ready to get them out, we have 2 10mm just like this underneath and mount from this rail to the subframe, straight at the bottom to the subframe. 2 10s, 1 and 1. Have to take those out. You also have to remove the transmission line from the radiator to gain clearance. And then you have to disconnect the upper radiator hose as well. And then your fans will cut to the passenger side and slide up and out. Now we can focus on the radiator, which would be the lower hose. And then we got one more transmission line down there at the bottom. That'll disconnect those hoses. Then we got the ones that attach the condenser to the radiator, a 10 here, and then a 10 on this side. And then it just lifts up and over. Well, the condenser will lift up and then the radiator will go over and then out. So yeah. And one thing, before you actually start messing with the actual alternator itself, before you disconnect that hot wire that runs from the battery to the alternator, you want to disconnect that battery before you touch that alternator. Some people like to do it like as the first thing before they mess with the alternator, but Sometimes I do that, and sometimes I just wait for the actual point of me having to mess with the alternator. Then I'll be sure to disconnect that battery. Or to verify that it was disconnected, whichever. So if you run into the issue where you can't gain access to the clamp on the lower radiator hose, because I tried to put my pliers on there and just wasn't happening. There's no angle for it, at least for what I'm using pliers. So I had to remove the bottom of the air filter housing. And in order to do that, to actually slide it, it's this piece. Remember the piece with all the leaves in it I showed you? That piece where the computer was in? So yeah, that has to come out. So you can gain clearance to the other clamp on the actual thermostat end and take it off like that. So you have to remove the cruise control module out the way. That way you can slide it. You can slide that little housing back and out. And it was one bolt right there, and then it's a little peg right there. You can slide it back over and out. From the 310 millimeter, one, and here, two bolts and a nut. So yeah. Once we did that, now we can go ahead and take this off. Take off the other radiator line, and then take the radiator out. Oh yeah, 10 and 10. This is our radiator. As you can see, it's caked up with dust, and there's like oil that was probably leaking out of the transmission line that I showed you that was wet, because it runs down, and it's just gonna cake up there. It runs from the top part there to down. This is the back toward facing the front of the vehicle of the radiator. And this is how it would sit in there. That's where I disconnected the little radiator hose from. So yeah, so now that we got that out, now I'm gonna go disconnect my battery. And I have access to this alternator right here. I have all the clearance that I need to bring it out and up. So we're gonna disconnect. As you can see, that motherfucker's caked up. Looks like an oil leak that's been leaking from these valve covers. So yeah, we got access to the belt tensioner right there. I don't know if it's, there it goes right there. Straight back there. Anyways, so yeah, take the belt off, disconnect the battery, then we're able to gain access to these bolts and ground strap and other connections to it. Right, so I got the belt disconnected from the alternator. I don't like taking the whole belt off because it's a pain in the ass to get it to run this routing. It's gonna take you 2 people or a long time by yourself to run that routing correctly if you remove the whole belt by itself. So I just keep the routing in place except for on the alternator, and then I just zip tie it in place. That way while I'm working I don't accidentally nudge it out of place or something. But yeah, there we go. Now I can remove the connections, and then we can remove the mounting bolts, and then it'll come out. There we go. Oh, in order to get my ratchet in there for the belt tensioner, there's one 10 millimeter bolt that goes all the way down. Doesn't want to gain focus, but it's a little 10 millimeter bolt holding this plastic housing that the receiver dryer sits in, and it just needs to shift out the way just a little bit, just enough to get the ratchet in there. So yeah, got a cheater bar on it, and that's a 1/2 inch ratchet going into the tensioner. So yeah, now let's get that alternator off. Right, so for your alternator bolts, they're going to be 15 millimeters. You're going to have one right here holding this ground strap to here. 15 millimeter going in up, pointed upwards at an angle. Right there, you got access to it. You got another 15 millimeter bolt. Doesn't want to focus, but right there. That's 15. Take that one out. Then you have one more down there. You see it right there. Gain access to it through the bottom, underneath through there. Take it out. Those 3 bolts and the alternator coming right off. detour. So when you remove the the radiator, you have the transmission line that's going on the top. I recommend you change that O-ring, because if you don't, when you put it back together, 80% of the time it's going to leak. Once you raise the vehicle, the bolt at the bottom that I'm talking about, it's right there on the bottom of the alternator. You got super good access to it right here. 15mm deep socket, small extension. Breaker bar, take it off. Once you remove that bolt, you remove the alternator to the top. Everything should be loose. Everything should be good to go. One of the things I forgot to mention on the bottom bolt, the one I showed you just a while ago up under there, on the other side of it, there's a nut on it. So once you loosen it completely, you can just reach behind the opposite end of it and just take that off with your finger, and then out comes the bolt. Here's the alternator. So contributing factor on these Cadillacs for alternator premature failure is to cake up. All that caked up oil right there. Suffocate that alternator, make it overheat, burn out. That caked up oil is a result from the bad valve cover gasket. You can see that same cake right there along the edge of that valve cover, just going down straight to that alternator. And so 90% of the time what happens is they have a valve cover leak that contributes to that cake, specifically in this area. And when they have to keep adding oil, when they overspill, it'll run straight down to that alternator. It just builds and builds and builds. And that's from spillage and a contributing factor from the valve cover gasket itself. Alright, so I got the new alternator, it's already in there. It's mounted through this bolt and the first top side bolt. There we go, right there. Can't get focused, but right there. But yeah, it's not all the way in. Got some slack on it, that way I can go to the bottom and put that bolt with that nut through it. Tighten that bottom one up first and come back up and retighten these and put the ground strap, the belt, and then reverse the process. Alright, so I got the 2003, and this is the same from 2000 to 2005, but I also got the 2008, and that's pretty much the same from 06 to 11. So I wanted to show you the differences, some of them that would be different in the removal of this alternator. You would still have to take off condenser, radiator, and all that, and the fans. But on that one, the grill, as you can see, it's on this hood, on the old 2000 to 2005. The grill on this one is actually made on the bumper. The grill comes up from the bumper. So therefore, the 2006 through 11, these bolts right here to your condenser would be hidden behind the grill. So you would actually have to get a small extension, well, mid-size extension, and come in through the grill to access those condenser to radiator bolts. That's one of the differences. The other difference is to get this to start flexing back a little, not only do you have to remove those two, but you gotta remove the bolts that are attached to the grill as well, which are these, attached from the front of the grill, from the grill up on top to this body portion right here and right there. So without removing those, it won't allow this to flex at all. So then you remove your two up here as normal, or actually your four up here as normal. Then you remove these two on each side, and then that will give you the flexibility you need to get the radiator and the fan out of that one. Other than that, it's really, I don't think, let me see something. Yeah, you don't have that big AC line in the front of this one to really mess with you like this one. This big old AC line in the way, it's just, it doesn't restrict anything, but you have to move it out the way to get, to get your fans on, to get the radio out. You literally just move it out the way. almost done with the fans, got the radiator, got the alternator. I'm just gonna put the air intake housing and the bracket, crossbar, and then that should be a wrap. Put the battery in, crank it up. Also, if you have cheap batteries, they, I want to say 7 to 8 times out of 10, they ain't gonna be good no more. They ain't really gonna have to charge once they die completely. You might get lucky and get like 1 or 2 recharges out of them, but other than that, they tend to lose their life once they die completely. So if you experience an alternator issue and your vehicle dies completely, you might be able to jump it off 1, 2, 3 times, but after that, it's no longer really going to be a good battery. But if you have an expensive battery, then that increases the chances of reviving it once it dies completely, with the amount of times you can revive it. But yeah, that's about it with this one. We're going to put it together and we'll crank it up, show y'all the end result. If this video was of help to you, please like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff.